Nobody chose to be homeless, mentally ill. I don't think it's a choice.
I have what they call schizophrenia, and schizophrenia is when you hear voices, and also there's a trouble with telling the difference between what's real and what's not real in your head.
I never thought I'd be homeless. My last apartment in New York was the 44th floor overlooking Central Park West. I mean, whoever thought? I never did. But it's just around the corner, and that's, you know, I think people need to wake up to that.
Something I could never have imagined in my life. I mean, just because I always worked, I took care of my daughter, I took care of my business. And so never in 1,000 years did I think I would be. The way I looked at it one night, my daughter paid for me a hotel room. I stayed at the Venice Hostel. And I was up on the top floor, and it was like that night I'm there, but next day I'm back out there. And I'm watching these, it was a cold, misty night, and I'm looking out this window from way up there, and people were on the street dragging their blankets, and they're getting wet, and it's cold, and the guy laying on the bench, and I'm sitting up there thinking, this looks like a bad Bible story, and I'm in it. There's people out there with PhDs, and I mean, from every walk of life. Like most of America, what they say, most of America is 1 or 2 paychecks away from homelessness. Some health thing comes down or something, and can just totally wipe you out.
Hotels just wipe you out. If you're making 80 bucks a day and spending 60 on a hotel, well, transpo, food, okay, it's gonna eat up the rest of it. You're broke again, you gotta do it again tomorrow.
It's depressing to be out there. It's depressing, and once you learn to live with that depression, you're hooked out there. You know, you think that you deserve to be there, and you can't think any better. You think that, you know, you're not worthy of anything.
I just think that there's a lot of people that need to understand that this is not something that, you know, it's not, most of us don't, it's not self-inflicted. Sometimes it's a situation, a circumstance, it's a missed paycheck, or, you know, rent doesn't get paid, and with the foreclosures going on, there's more people that are willing to pay more rent, so they'll bounce you out a lot faster than they would before. And then, you know, our society's in a pretty tough dilemma financially, and I think there's a lot of people that aren't aware just how close it is to home.
I knew that this drug and alcohol thing was a problem. It was a problem, and then you don't have a job, or you don't have money to supply that stuff. And it really became one of my major issues about, you know, turning my life around.
Changes, again, comes about, the person's got to be ready for it, the person's got to want it.
I chose to stick it out on the streets because of my pride and my shame, or, you know, crawling back to my family like I couldn't make it, you know. I just chose to, let me see how I can just start from nothing and go. And that was the lie I was telling myself, you know. There's no way you can go on the streets like that. It was, you know, really demoralizing. I tried to hide my homelessness, but, you know, after 4 or 5 months, I gave that up. You know, I needed to really start thinking about, where am I going?
It took a whole lot for this building to be here because of the stigma. You know, people saying, well, we're Santa Monica, and we don't want a tsunami of people coming from LA to live here if we make it good. But you got to trust that things is going to happen when you have a plan.
OPCC kind of reached out and slowly got me to understand. And they got me therapy with psychiatrists, and my drug and alcohol addiction somehow just left me. And from that point on, I haven't even thought much about it. I mean, it was like a miracle. And today, I don't drink, I don't drug, and it's going on 2 years.
So it took me 5 years of being on the streets and occasionally popping into Daybreak to use the telephones and get a shower and have lunch and have my laundry taken care of and get a nap. And I think that's what kept me alive.
I've been like San Michelle, Turning Point, which is a good place. This place is excellent. It's as far as staff goes, I'd have to say that this is probably the best staff. And I guess it's because they deal with women with mental issues.
I think it was the combination of Daybreak, menopause, and Prozac that finally snapped me out of it. And I became very strong and very centered, and I was determined to get myself out of that situation. And I did.
You know, when your friends go in these, you know, they go into these shelters, there's hope because there's so much help within the shelter. You know, just case managers, therapists, psychiatrists, and a lot of people, you know, they keep coming back, and I think that's great. You know, I keep coming back.
I'm in a bed downstairs in a cubicle. It's like 7 by 7, and what it is it's a program to get you back into housing. And a lot of people, like, I haven't been housed for so many years. Sometimes I freak out, like in enclosed spaces or large groups. And this is like, it's in the middle so I can get used to it. So I can get used to having like a place and everything's, when I come home, my stuff is on the table where it was and the TV's on the same channel. And it's the kind of thing that makes you go, yeah, that's what I want.
It was such a hard transition from being on the streets and in shelters to going into an apartment by yourself. But as long as there's a place to go back to that's familiar and supportive and just you love the people there, then it just makes it so much easier to cope. I know it's going to be, you know, a long struggle still, but something inside of me has changed. Something inside of me knows that there is hope. There's more hope than there is pain and struggle. I try to pull hope from everything.
It takes a while to you don't just go from being homeless to having a beautiful life. You take some work and you evolve, or I did. And it's been a wonderful journey.
We were made unperfect. Nobody's perfect. It happens in the White House, in the Blue House, in the Green House, in every house, everywhere. You know, right down to me, which is I'm the smallest penny of everything. I'm just a grain of salt in the whole mix.
Someone give me a beat. Rewind time when I was too blind to see what was inside of me, but Leslie brought it out because she invested so much time in me. Leslie taught me to find my inner strength and to release the pain. It puts a smile on my face every time I think of you, Leslie, because you carry part of the weight when my struggles were too heavy. I feel so blessed because you're in my life. You gave me the spark to see the light at the end of the tunnel and know that I'll be all right. Gave me the hope to change my state of mind. You kept me going, kept me flowing, showed me new ways to cope and keep growing. Now I'm gonna slow it down, stay in the moment on this special day, freeze it and own it. And because of you, we're all gonna keep going. We all love you and just want you to know it.